Assalamu alaikum dear students. In the last lecture of chapter 4 Laws of Motion, we had studied about collisions. As during collisions a number of objects come together, interact, that means exert forces on each other and scatter in different directions. Now, during the collision, the linear momentum of the entire system of the particles is always conserved, as there is no external force acting on the system of particles. So, here we can say that the total initial momentum of the system is equal to total final momentum of the system. That means the total momentum before the collision is equal to total momentum after the collision. However, the kinetic energy of the entire system may or may not be conserved. So, the collisions can be divided into two types: elastic and inelastic collisions. A collision is said to be elastic if kinetic energy of the entire system is conserved during the collision along with the linear momentum. That means when the total kinetic energy before the collision is equal to total kinetic energy after the collision, as well as the total linear momentum before the collision is equal to total linear momentum after the collision. So, such collision is said to be an elastic collision. So, in the elastic collision, there is a conservation of linear momentum as well as there is a conservation of kinetic energy is there, and hence we can write the total initial kinetic energy is equal to total final kinetic energy, with total initial linear momentum is equal to total final linear momentum. So, in the elastic collision, two conditions must be satisfied: conservation of linear momentum and conservation of kinetic energy. A collision is said to be inelastic if there is a loss in kinetic energy during the collision takes place, but the linear momentum is conserved. In the inelastic collision, there will be the conservation of linear momentum takes place, but the kinetic energy may not be conserved. The kinetic energy before the collision is different than the kinetic energy after the collision. The loss in the kinetic energy is either due to internal friction or vibrational motion of atoms causing heating effect. Thus, during an inelastic collision, the total initial kinetic energy is greater than total final kinetic energy. And during an explosion, as energy is supplied internally, then the total final kinetic energy is greater than total initial kinetic energy. But in both the cases, the conservation of linear momentum will take place. That means the total initial linear momentum is equal to total final linear momentum. And the difference between the kinetic energy which appears in the inelastic collision is converted into another form of energy like heat energy, sound energy or deformation, etc. So, in the inelastic collision, there will be only conservation of linear momentum there. The kinetic energy of the system is not conserved. The total initial kinetic energy is differ than the total final kinetic energy. Then the special case of the inelastic collision is said to be a perfectly inelastic collision if the bodies after the collision join together and move with the same final velocity, then it is said to be a perfectly inelastic collision. Then we have studied coefficient of restitution, which is to be denoted as E. The degree of the elasticity of a collision is determined by a quantity which is called as coefficient of restitution. And for collision of two objects, the negative of the ratio of relative velocity of separation to the relative velocity of approach is defined as the coefficient of restitution. Then we had determined the value of the coefficient of restitution for a perfectly inelastic collision. Now for the perfectly inelastic collision, as we know that the colliding bodies move jointly after the collision, that means V1 is equal to V2. Hence, V1 minus V2 or V2 minus V1 would be 0. Hence, as we are getting the value of the coefficient of restitution for the perfectly inelastic collision, E is equal to 0 upon U2 minus U1, which is equal to 0. That means, in other words, we can say that if value of E is 0, the collision is said to be a perfectly inelastic collision. As for the perfectly inelastic collision, the colliding bodies after the collision moving with the same velocity. That's why the difference between the final velocity, which is also called as the relative velocity of separation, is 0, and hence the coefficient of restitution we are getting the value as 0. So, if the value of E is 0, then we can say that the head-on collision is perfectly inelastic collision. And also we had determined the coefficient of restitution during a head-on elastic collision. The value of E for the head-on elastic collision we had determined there, which is 1. Thus, for an elastic collision, the coefficient of restitution E is 1, and for a perfectly inelastic collision, the coefficient of restitution E is 0. Thus, for any collision, we can say the coefficient of restitution lies between 1 and 0. Now, let's proceed the topic collisions. Expressions for final velocities after a head-on elastic collision. Now, let's determine the expression for the final velocities after a head-on elastic collision. As already in the elastic collision we had determined equation U1 plus V1 is equal to U2 plus V2. We had determined this equation in the case of the elastic collision, head-on elastic collision. By using this equation, we can write the value of V2, that we are obtaining the value of V2 from this equation after rearranging this equation as U1 plus V1 minus U2. So here the value of the V2 is to be given as U1 plus V1 minus U2. Here we are going to determine the final velocities after a head-on elastic collision. That means we have to determine the value of V1 and V2. By using this equation, we can substitute the value of V2 in the equation of which we obtained by using the principle of conservation of linear momentum. As per the principle of conservation of linear momentum, we are having from conservation of linear momentum, we are having the equation m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. The total linear momentum before the collision is equal to total linear momentum after the collision. As the momentum is product of mass and velocity, so total linear momentum before the collision is m1 u1 plus m2 u2, and total linear momentum after the collision is m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Now here in this equation, we can substitute the value of v2. Now give the equation v2 as 1 here. So substitute the equation 1 in the equation that we obtained by the conservation of linear momentum. So here we can write it as m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2. Instead of this v2, we have to write u1 plus v1 minus u2. Then let's open the bracket, and hence we are writing it as m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 u1 plus m2 v1 minus m2 u2. Then here we can see in this equation the final velocity v1 is present. So we are writing v1, velocity v1 terms at one side and all other terms at another side, and hence we are getting m1 u1 plus m2 u2. This term m2 u1, this side becomes minus m2 u1, and minus m2 u2, this side becomes plus m2 u2 is equal to remaining terms m1 v1 plus m2 v1. Now let's take out common v1 from here, and also m2 u2 plus m2 u2 is there, so it becomes 2 m2 u2. And also we can take out common u1 from here also, that is m1 plus m1 minus m2. So m1 minus m2 we are writing in a bracket when we have taken common u1, and m2 u2 added together becomes 2 m2 u2 is equal to v1 we are taken out common, so it is m1 plus m2 in a bracket into v1. As we want to determine the value of v1, so this equation we are going to divide by m1 plus m2, and hence we can write down the value of v1 is equal to, now when we are dividing the equation by m1 plus m2, so it will be cancel, only v1 is remaining there, and this side is also divided by m1 plus m2. So here we are writing as m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2 m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. So the final velocity v1 we have obtained as m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2 m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. Give it equation number 2. Equation number 2 gives the final velocity v1. So here we have obtained the final velocity v1 by means of the equation number 2. Now by using this equation, we have to substitute the value of v1 in equation number 1, and hence we can determine the value of v2 also. So let's substitute the value of v1 in equation number 1, which is v2 is equal to u1 plus v1 minus u2. So instead of v1 we have to write down this equation. So here we are supposed to write as m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2 m2 u2 upon m1 plus m2. This is the value of V1 there. Then minus U2 is there. As equation number 1 is V2 is equal to U1 plus V1 minus U2. After the substitution, here we have to solve this equation. As by solving this equation, we are getting the value of V2, which is the final velocity for the mass m2 there. Now let's see, u1 plus m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2 into u1 is there. That means from these two terms we can take out common u1. Similarly, the u2 term is to be taken out from the other two terms there. So here we have to write V2 is equal to U1, we have taken out common. So in bracket, here 1 is remaining plus here M1 minus M2 upon M1 plus M2 is there. As U1 is taken out common, so this M1 minus M2 upon M1 plus M2 is remaining. So here we have to write in this way after taking common U1 there. Similarly from here plus U2 we have taken out common. The remaining term we are writing in a bracket 2M2 upon M1 plus M2 minus U2 we have taken out common, 1 is remaining. Now let's solve this two brackets. So we have to write V2 is equal to U1. Now here cross multiplication will take place. It becomes M1 plus M2 and this plus M1 minus M2, the whole divided by M1 plus M2. Then plus U2, solve this bracket, 2M2 minus 1 is there. Minus 1 into M1 plus M2 is there. So it becomes minus M1 minus M2. The whole divided by M1 plus M2. Now here M2 get cancelled, plus M2 minus M2 get cancelled, and also from this bracket 2M2 minus M2 is there, so M2 will remains. So we can write V2 is equal to M1 plus M1 becomes 2M1 into U1 upon M1 plus M2, and from here as M2 is remaining, M2 2M2 minus M2 will be M2 only minus M1 upon M1 plus M2 into U2. So this equation, give it number 3, we have obtained for the final velocity V2. So here we had determined the expressions for final velocities after a head-on collision, that is of elastic collision, and the equation we are getting V1 is equal to M1 minus M2 upon M1 plus M2 into U1 plus 2M2 upon M1 plus M2 into U2, and for V2 it is equal to M2 minus M1 upon M1 plus M2 into U2 plus 2M1 upon M1 plus M2 into U1. Now let's have the particular cases. The very first case we are considering that if the bodies are of equal masses or identical, that means M1 is equal to M2, the two bodies are having same mass, then V1 and V2 we are getting as over here V1 is equal to M1 minus M2. When these two masses are equal, then M1 minus M2 will be 0, and hence this term would be 0 there. Then plus 2 m2 upon m1 plus m2 is there. As m1 is equal to m2, so here we can write this m1 as m2 there, and hence m2 plus m2 would be 2m2, and 2m2 upon 2m2 would be 1 into u2. So the result for this term we are getting as u2. That means the final velocity v1 we are getting as u2 there. If the bodies are of equal masses, then v1 is equal to u2 there. Let's see for v2 also. As m1 is equal to m2, so that m2 minus m1 would be 0, and hence this term would be 0 there. Then plus 2 m1 upon m1 plus m2 is there. So here we are substituting m2 as m1, and m1 plus m1 would be 2m1, and hence 2m1 upon 2m1 is 1 into u1 there. So the value for v2 we are getting as u1. This shows that there is exchange of velocities of two equal masses in head-on collision, elastic collision, when the bodies are of equal masses. That means when two bodies are of equal masses in head-on collision will give the result as, after making the head-on elastic collision, the final velocity of the body having mass m1 is equal to initial velocity of the body having mass m2, and final velocity of the body having mass m2 is equal to initial velocity of the body having mass m1. That means there is an exchange of velocities of two equal masses in head-on elastic collision would be takes place. Thus, we can say that the bodies are of equal masses in head-on elastic collision just exchange their velocities. Now let's have the next case. If the colliding body is much heavier and the struck body is initially at rest, that means here we are considering that the body having the mass m1 is much heavier and the struck body is initially at rest. That means the body having the mass m1 is much greater than mass m2, and the body having the mass m2 is initially at rest. That means the initial velocity of the mass m2, that is u2, is equal to 0. So if the colliding body is much heavier, that means here we are considering that m1 is much greater than m2, and the struck body is initially at rest. So the initial velocity of the mass m2, which is u2, is equal to 0. So here we can say that as m1 is much greater than m2, so here as we are having the factors in our equation for the final velocities like m1 minus m2 and m2 minus m1. So here m1 plus minus m2, we are taking it as near about m1 only, and m2 upon m1 plus m2 is nearly equal to 0. As m1 is much greater than m2, so here we are supposed to take the value of m2 as 0 there, or we are supposed to neglect this m2 there. That's why we are using m1 plus minus m2 is near about m1, and factors we are using for m2 upon m1 plus m2, as m2 we are neglecting. That's why this term m2 upon m1 plus m2 we are taking near about as 0, and when we substitute the values in the equation for the final velocities as m1 plus minus m2 we are taking as m1 only. Okay. So, here we are neglecting m2 and hence m1 upon m1 is remains, which is 1 into u1, and for the factor m2 upon m1 plus m2 it would be 0 into u2 is equal to 0. That means, here for the final velocity v1 we are getting the value as u1 only, and also here we can take the value of u2 as 0, as it is given that the struck body is initially at rest. That means u2 is equal to 0. So, when u2 is 0, so this term would be 0 there, and we are getting the value of v1 in terms of u1 only, and hence here as mass m1 is much greater than m2. So, here we are neglecting this m2 and m1 upon m1 is 1 into u1. That is why we are getting the value of v1 as u1. Now, for the velocity v2, as first of all the factor which is given over here is m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 into u2. As u2 is given as 0, so this term would be 0 there. Then plus 2 m1 upon m1 plus m2 is there. As m2 is going to be neglected, we are considering here instead of m1 plus m2 we are taking as m1 only. So, 2 m1 upon m1 would be 2, as m1 get cancelled there, and this 2 is to be multiplied with u1. So, here for the final velocity v2 we are getting the value as 2 u1. So, if the colliding body is much heavier, that is m1 is much greater than m2, and the struck body is initially at rest, that is u2 is equal to 0. So, we are getting v1 is equal to u1 and v2 is equal to 2 u1. That means, the massive striking body is practically unaffected. Over here the final velocity of the mass which is much heavier than the another body having the mass m2, as mass m1 is much heavier. So, the final velocity of mass m1 is unaffected as it is equal to u1. That means, whatever the initial velocity of the heavier mass is there, the same velocity we are getting after the collision. Okay, so, it is unaffected, and the tiny body which is struck, okay, that is the body having the mass m2, it travels with double the speed of the massive striking body. That means, over here after making the head on collision, the tiny body which is struck, it too will be traveling with the double speed of its initial velocity of the body having the mass m1 there. That means, the massive striking body is practically unaffected and the tiny body which is struck travels with double the speed of the massive striking body. Now, let us have the third particular case. If the body which is struck is much heavier than the colliding body and is initially at rest, that means, over here mass m2 is now much greater than mass m1 and u2 is equal to 0. Here, as it is given, the body which is struck, as we had discussed, m2 is struck, and now we are considering that this mass m2 is much heavier than the colliding body. The mass m1 is making collision with m2 and m2 is much heavier than m1, and mass m2 initially at rest, that means the initial velocity u2 is equal to 0. So, over here we are using the same approximation in our equation, and hence as m2 is much greater than m1, so we are neglecting this m1. So here we are getting minus m2 upon m2, which would be minus 1 into u1 will be minus u1, plus the term 2m2 upon m1 plus m2 is multiplied with u2. As u2 is equal to 0, so this term would be 0 there. And finally, we are getting velocity v1 is equal to minus u1. And for the velocity v2, as the term m2 minus m1 upon m1 plus m2 into u2, where u2 is 0, so this term would be 0. Then plus 2m1 upon m1 plus m2 into u1. As we are neglecting this m1, so this entire term would be 0 there. That means the velocity v2 we are getting as 0. So over here, when the body which is struck is much heavier than the colliding body, that is m2 is much heavier than m1, and initially m2 is at rest, so we are getting v1 is equal to minus u1 and v2 is equal to 0. That means over here the tiny or the lighter object rebounds with the same speed while the massive object is unaffected. Over here the struck body which is much heavier, that is m2 is much heavier than m1. So when m1 is making collision with m2, so m2 as it is at rest, it will remain at rest, but m1 is now moving with the same speed as of initial velocity but in opposite direction. It means it would be rebounds. So over here, when the body which is struck is much heavier than the colliding body and is initially at rest, we get v1 is equal to minus u1 and v2 is near about 0. That is, the tiny or lighter object rebounds with same speed while the massive object is unaffected. This is as good as dropping an elastic object on hard surface of the earth. This shows that head-on elastic collision of light particle where mass of the body tends to 0 with heavy particle where the body at rest, the velocity of light particle after head-on elastic collision is approximately reversed and the heavy particle remains approximately at rest. For example, if a ball is thrown against the wall, then the ball rebounds with the same velocity with which it hits the wall. So here we have completed the topic expressions for final velocities after a head-on elastic collision with its particular cases. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.